Hi all, I'm Jessica.
And I'm Claude.
Welcome to Work Besties Who Podcast.
Work Besties!
Hey Claude.
Hey Jess, so are you ready for the first episode?
Sure am. And what a better way to kick off with a little bit about us.
All right, I think we should call it the Why Us and Why Now story. What do you think?
We want this to really be the origin of why you and I started this podcast. And maybe we give a little bit of a sneak peek about what the audience should expect in upcoming episodes. So, if you think you're going to get the background on how Claude and I became work besties, well, for that you're really going to have to turn into episode 2.
Oh, come on, teaser. Okay, but maybe we talk about how in one of our numerous conversations, especially late at night with all the texts we give each other, we actually came across the Harvard Business article about the power of work friendship by John Clifton. And we thought that there was a lot of interesting call out in which we plan to cover in many of our upcoming topics. But I have to say that the two that really struck us and got us talking about the power of work besties developing a strong bond. And we thought that a lot of people could relate because it is so important to have a work besties. It really helps with the support system, even collaborating. You don't have even to be, in competition.
Right.
So that really, and that's what started to put a little grain in our brain.
Right, totally. Yeah. I think it really helped too to understand some of the communications and how we could kind of get through some of those things. And I think when we were kind of deep diving into that article, of course, as you know, Google links everything else to you. We also found that Gallup article that came out, I guess, at a similar timing that was talking about the increased importance of best friends at work. And I think that one hit me more so than you because of the fact it was showcasing that epidemic of loneliness and how having that connection with a work bestie can overcome that. And it got us thinking, how do we bring that more to life? How do we help others see the value in it? Whether it's you yourself or even organizations helping to foster that.
Maybe hopefully there are some organizations out there that are going to read, or some HR people, right, that are going to say, you know what, that's really important, and making them realize that.
Right. So, Claude, let me ask you a quick question. What do you think is the best part of having a workplace BFF?
Well, for me, the importance of having a work bestie is really being having a support, right? And really having someone that understands where we are coming from, because we can always go to our significant others or our family, but they don't really know what's going on at work. And having this common knowledge really help. And I have to say, for me also, is really having this fun part. Work can be very stressful, and having a work bestie where we can just laugh or vent is extremely important.
Totally. Yeah, and I second that for sure. And the one element that I think we always reflect on is the fact that it's easier to have those conversations with people living and breathing it every day. And you have those kind of silent or visual triggers that help you kind of remember and pull you out of it. So agree to everything you're saying and more. And all those articles and the future topics that we'll be covering will definitely bring that to light in very unique ways. So Claude, can you share what made you want to specifically do this podcast?
Because you made me. I got to you, the brain behind this whole thing. Yeah. Actually, thank God, because otherwise we would still be looking for, I don't know, microphones, right? If it was just on me. I'm just good for memes.
And you're good for memes.
Actually, one of our late night at work, when we started to actually, I have to say, go a little bit crazy. At the end of the day, we actually thought that we were pretty hilarious. And
We did anyway.
we did, yeah. That's what, between you and I, we thought we were hilarious. Maybe nobody was laughing at our joke, but at least we did. And it all started, if you remember, where we say, hey, you know what? We should have our own comedy show, or we should have our own reality TV. Well, after that, and actually it's you that pushed me, say, you know what, let's do a podcast. Let's show people really the importance of work best friend. And I think that in the future episode we're going to see that. We're going to invite a lot of people, and see their interaction with their work best friend. And also we're going to laugh, we're going to cry, so lots of great things coming.
Agreed. Yeah. And I think you kind of gave a peek behind the tent of we definitely are planning on covering different topics, different industries, different types of engagement that a work best friend can be, from work spouses to work family to all of it.
And yeah, and also I think is how we really became work friend, because
Right.
there's always that moment that that that's it. That's my friend for life.
Yeah.
And I think that there's always that moment that a lot of time is the same for a lot of people, but we'll discover that as well.
Yeah. Agreed. So the reason why we did want to focus on this too was because, as we all know, we spend so much of our lives at work. And I think many of us at times, whether we do it as a manager or as a part of a team, really want to try and make our experiences with our coworkers, our teammates, especially those that we manage, feel more like a family than just the day-to-day grind of being a worker. And I personally have noticed over time that it's been harder to do so. And we've heard, at least you'll also start to hear too, it's getting less and less focused in other companies. But we see that there is still an appetite for it and an appreciation. So we really wanted to create that platform where work besties across all industries, all walks of life, all types of different stories of engagement can really bring that hope and create a movement that all companies encourage and highlight. Mm-hmm. This is something that we really want to focus on because of the fact that we've noticed, not just again within our own personal lives, but just in the engagement in this short time we've done the podcast, that there is this epidemic of loneliness. And a lot of our individuals have talked about how this has helped them overcome that. So how can we collectively foster this collaboration and really further the support and work of helping other organizations integrate this? So it isn't just about work-life balance, which is also extremely important and topics we plan to cover as well, but it is about ensuring that companies and organizations help support the value of friendships at work.
And I have to say that actually in our work, everybody knows that we're work bestie.
Right.
You're not going to say it so many times, right?
Just as many times as you misspell it on our Instagram.
We know that everybody knows that we're work bestie. They laugh at it, they enjoy it actually. Yes. And I think that also make it a lighter feeling in the work
environment.
Place,
Yes, especially during those tense times when we do need to get a lot of things done. Sometimes you just need that 5 seconds of reprieve. So I kind of think that segues into my next question to you, or the next thing that I think we should kind of provide to the viewers is, what should they expect in the upcoming episodes?
The audience should expect lots of laugh. At least on our part, because we think that we are hilarious. Maybe some crying also and some reflection, right? Because it's, again, important. It's going deep down inside us, how important it is. And mostly understanding the value of work besties. Just wanted to tell the audience that a lot of time I will say Betsy instead of bestie.
You should just say BFFs.
I should just say WBFF.
WBFF.
So that will be actually easier. A lot of words I decided not to put in my vocabulary because I cannot say it. But going back to this, the value of WBFF across all walks of life and industry, but also if when you start in your career all the way to the end.
And keeping up with all of the
Exactly.
work-life
And
besties, because there will be many.
yeah,
And they're all just
we
as
are-
important. Yeah.
And there are a lot of memes that we see, the best friends or the one that we don't talk forever, but and when we hook up again,
That's for another episode, Claude.
we meet again. Maybe with the work husband.
Significant others, don't listen to that episode.
When we meet again, it's like we never left.
Right.
And it goes back.
picks
and
up
there's
right where you left off.
Exactly. And there's also a support. If someone, for example, need another job, we can always go to that work BFF. And then, they'll be there.
Right.
Like they were there when we were working together.
Right. Like how we've now had them all join our podcast.
Exactly.
And if you haven't been reached out to, you will be soon. All right, guys. We did want to just really quickly recap and say, for those who haven't read those 2 articles that we mentioned, we will be linking them as well. You'll hear us reference them, as well as some other good reads that we've recently come out more recent, and anything that we continue to notice out there, we will be sharing too.
And, feel free to put also in the comments any topic you would want us to talk about.
Definitely. So,
anywho, well, we did it. Hopefully you actually enjoyed it.
Are you asking me?
Well, I know you enjoyed it. No, people that are listening, maybe the 2 or 3 people that are listening to us, can promise that we won't be laughing in the future, but I think we'll still do it. And
or that you won't get caught saying
Betsy
instead of bestie.
But stay tuned for episode 2, where we'll really go deep down on how we really became WBFF, aka besties, and really what that moment that made us realize that we were going to be friends.
Cool.
All
right, everybody. As we like to say to all the work besties out there, keep supporting each other.
Ta-ta.
Peace.